it's me, MC, Healthy by George. I come each week to talk about elements that'll help us stay healthier longer into our much older years. And today I want to talk about my health and wellness journey as I look at issues that help us maintain our weight loss after we've lost a good significant amount. And that's my situation. I've lost about 55 pounds. I want to continue losing some weight, but I also want to focus on developing habits that will help me maintain weight loss over time. Because that sometimes is the problem. How do we maintain the weight loss and not go back to gaining? So many people gain weight after they've lost weight. It just slowly creeps up. So how can we put things in place? So let's discuss it. And at the end of the video, I'm going to give you some key things that you can start to incorporate into your habits so that you can consider ways to help you maintain your weight loss. So think about subscribing. I would love to see you here each week where we can share about what we're doing daily. If you'll subscribe, you'll share. I'd love to see you here weekly. That's how we keep this channel going. Okay? Subscribe. So what is this issue about? Why it is that many people who gain weight after they've lost their weight, they slowly have suddenly moved back to not only regaining the weight, but they've regained more pounds than what they lost. And I think a lot of it has to do with we have challenges in our brain and our body and the fact that we resist change. We're used to working with food and our behavior in a certain way. Also, too, when we've lost weight, our metabolism has slowed down. We're needing to eat fewer calories. We may have an increased hunger hormones, especially if you're on one of the GLP-1 drugs. Maybe you've decreased the dose and you're noticing you're getting hungrier. I had that happen when I had to stop right before surgery. Also, too, sometimes with our brain, there is this reward system that we feel like, oh, we've done so well. I need to reward myself. And guess what? We want to reward ourselves with things like our favorite dessert. And sometimes that can be a little too frequent after we've lost some weight. So essentially, your body can return to what's called a set point. And I know I struggled with that. It really was a challenge in my life that the GLP-1 drugs that I've been on, once I was at a certain set point, I could never get any lower. But once I started Manjaro 2 years ago, finally my body was starting to release this like standard set point and I was able to get past it. So I have dropped below my normal set point, which is interesting. Your appetite, your body just gets used to being at a certain weight. And it's hard to go below it because apparently your energy and how you expend it is at the same level. It's decreased where it just wants to stay at this level. And sometimes your appetite, it can increase. And that maintaining this lower weight feels much more difficult. It makes you have to take more habit changes to maintain that. It seems more challenging to make this effort consistently. And that's where we have to look at our lifestyle and our habits. And how are we really interacting with food? Are we letting the portions get larger before we know it, we're back to eating seconds or thirds? Maybe we're getting ourselves more stressed or we're bored or we're having some emotional triggers that maybe we never dealt with while we were losing weight. And then, of course, sometimes it's difficult with our exercise to be consistent. We feel like we've achieved something, like losing a major amount of weight, and now it's maybe we're not being as consistent with our exercise. Truth is, consistency and environment are not about discipline or willpower. It's truly about how can you establish routines, daily routines that can help you keep in the momentum of the same mindset of when you were losing the weight aggressively. And the other thing is that you need to think about your environment. Environmental pressures are a big deal. You know, when there is an easy access, maybe there's some luncheons that you go to at work, or there's treats in the typical office kind of joy, everywhere goes together where they get coffee and water, or there's a place that you pass by that has this quick grab and go egg, bacon, and cheese sandwich on a bagel or donuts or muffins. And it seems easy and fast. And it's maybe something you think that you're only going to do every now and then. But because your schedules are getting more challenging, maybe you do it more frequently. And that's how we can slowly increase our calories and slowly gain weight. Also, too, maybe if we've got social events and we're celebrating our achievement and we may consume more consistently at social events than we probably did before, we're not being as mindful. Let's face it, we all get fatigued in some ways with our behaviors, especially if it seems to be so out of the social norm of what other people are choosing to do. It feels difficult. There also can be less activities that you are doing that are invigorating and expending calories. So these types of things are not going to support an environment that will continually give you a dynamic that you live within that offers support and movement as king towards supporting you with the maintenance of the weight loss you've had. I think also, too, some of the things I've been sharing about is the emotional and psychological challenges that sometimes we have with our weight loss, is that now we have a different identity. We're getting more noticed by people because of our new look, our new body, our new clothing. And so that suddenly we feel a little exposed maybe, or you feel uncomfortable getting these kinds of attention from people you haven't normally gotten. And here's this fear, I think, that we have that somehow that we can rebound and start stress eating, or now it's who am I as this new person, especially since it's been a while since I've been at this size. It's key to have social support for this place that you're wanting to stay in. And it's really not like a diet framework, but it's truly a lifestyle embracing of new behaviors that will continue to support you to be a healthier version of you. And I think we have to think about how do we help ourselves maintain our weight loss? And the truth is, we've got to think about what are the habits that got me here. It's about what is it that I need to do consistently with my diet or my food patterns or my eating choices that I can definitely continue, that are easy. I don't have to think about. The more we have to think about these choices, the less. What's high in protein? For me, the three things that I think about in the morning is eating boiled eggs, eating those Applegate low-fat sausages like made from turkey, and then a high protein oatmeal. And then the high protein breads like Ezekiel toast. I love that. It's a wonderful choice. I've also got Gokashi cereals with flaxseed milk. These are wonderful choices. I don't have to think about it. I know those are my key go-to breakfasts that are satisfying. They keep me full for a long period of time. They're high in protein. They have a moderate amount of calories. And typically I don't eat lunch, or I've eaten the breakfast so late in the day. That's my breakfast lunch kind of thing. Then I might have a snack of a yogurt or cheese, a snack or something with cheese and fruit or blueberries and something with protein, some nuts, and then dinner. Now, dinner is where I have the biggest challenge because that is typically a social event. So figuring out what I can do socially, I typically try to look ahead, make early choices, because I do want to eat foods that are going to support me nutritionally to stay as healthy as I can well into my older years. And I'm sure that's something you want to do too if you've lost some weight. I think trying to make things low calorie is not the focus, but for me, it's about high protein with low calorie and giving myself this nutrient dense, but this calorie range that I know if I stay within this kind of calorie range, it's good. I also know that I have this exercise routine that I have to stay within as well. And because I'm working hard to gain more muscle, lifting weights is a priority for me each week. So how are you making movement a priority for you? We need to get in some movement, walking every day, walking after a meal, walking several times a day. It doesn't have to be these 10,000 steps. Moderates, 5 to 7,000 steps with some weight work or some kind of leg or upper body work. Those things are easy. Make it 10 or 15 minutes. Give yourself breaks when you're doing work. Get up, walk around, reach down and touch your toes. Do something about balance exercises. Stand on one leg, toe to heel walk. You can do anything that will help you keep moving, and that is going to be key. But the final thing that I think we all need when we've lost a good amount of weight is social support. We need a group of friends who support these behaviors. They support the environment that you're working towards maintaining, of a mindfulness practice, of being present to the choices that you're making to stay in this body that you've worked very hard to develop, and let go of some old kind of things that weren't serving you. I know that's how I feel. I feel this combination of using this drug plus the tracking and exercising and moving. All of these things have worked towards me losing consistently over the past 2 years. It's not fast, and in a way I'm glad. I can feel more consistent about how I've done this process, and I feel stronger about how I can continue this process. I think one of the other things I'm looking into, and this is a field of research, is to wear a weighted vest. There's a lot of ideas that we can trick our brain into thinking that we haven't lost the weight by wearing a vest that has weights in it while we're walking. This might make the brain think, oh, I need to work harder because I haven't lost that weight. So that this can trick our brains into not having the lower metabolism. It can trick our brains into feeling like we are continuing to support this bigger weight, so that we don't find that our brain wants to stay at this set point in our body. So there is some research being done about that. And I think there's nothing wrong with wearing a light weighted vest just to improve our muscle tone in our back, our legs, our buttocks. As we walk, why not? I think it's a beautiful thing, but of course, always check with your doctor and make sure that this is something that is safe for you to do. And always start small. Never start like big. I always start small with everything so that I can figure out, does this work for me? How about you? So remember, my friends, you have this one precious life. Let's live it intentionally and do everything that we can to think mindfully each day. What do I want to pay attention to that will love myself deeper and more enthusiastically and bring fun to my day about how I want to be as I grow older? Please think about subscribing. I'd love to see you here each week. Please push that like button and share. It would be wonderful. I'll see you next time. It's me, MC of Healthy by George. Bye-bye.
So thank you so much for joining me at Healthy by George. I hope you found the information inspiring and that it encourages you on your wellness journey. Because remember, your body, your well-being are a most precious gift, and every tiny action taken daily can make a huge difference. I hope the information here is educational purposes and is not meant to replace your medical care. See your doctor and talk about what works for you. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Your support means the world to me, and it helps me continuing creating content that inspires and empowers you to live your best life. Goodbye for now, and join me again at the next Healthy by George.